Gabz FM. Today's hits, yesterday's classics.
Alright, it's the Sunday Book Report as we do every single Sunday, and today we have as our guest in the Purple Studio Goitsemang J, who is going to be talking to us about himself, about being a great entrepreneur and being an even better business leader, I hope. Goitsemang, thank you so much for joining us in the studio.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Great stuff. Now, before we get into all of that, you're not alone in the studio. You have somebody following you with a camera, which is very interesting. Talk to us a little bit about that. What is that about?
Yeah, I want to greet all listeners at home,
Sure.
and thank you very much for having me here. And my name is Gabz J, born in Namibia in 1993, but I'm a fully Motswana. And I grew up under great struggle in terms of my upbringing, and then in terms of, I normally say to the people that families suffer from either of the two, either psychographic problems or economic problems.
Right.
So what we become in life ultimately is influenced by all of these two. So for me, we suffered economic crisis, serious one. That's why I became who I am.
Right. And the camera?
Yeah, that's actually my guy who was documenting my life.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you had said something to me a little bit earlier on about the fact that when you were growing up, you didn't know much about your father.
Yeah.
You have very little information, and that's kind of what led you to documenting stuff about your own life.
Yeah.
So that, you know, if you do have kids, I don't know if you have kids, but if you eventually do have kids,
Yeah.
you can pass that on to them.
Yeah, actually, I don't want my son to tell his son about me. I want him to show him the video so
Right.
that he can see me real life if he never gets the chance to do so.
Okay.
Or his other son.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or your daughter, of course.
Oh, my daughter, yeah.
All right. Now let's talk a little bit about yourself. Of course, you said that you were born in Namibia, but you grew up in Botswana.
Yeah.
I take it. And how did you end up being who you are today? Which schools did you go to?
Yeah.
What have you accomplished in your life?
Yeah. Right now, I subscribe to my own quote that says we all go through what we go through to become what we have to become. Talking about purpose. Sometimes we don't choose where we come from. We don't choose who our parents is. And for me, being born in Namibia to a man who had me as his 22nd kid. And
22nd?
Yeah,
Wow.
22.
22.
And my mom as her 8th kid.
Okay.
And that kind of brought me into a little bit of a learning curve for me. I actually loved it now when we look back at how we grew up and
Yeah.
becoming who we became, because growing up under my mother's house, it wasn't really much affording in terms of economic sustainability and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I found myself having to participate in putting the bread on the table at primary school at around standard 5 when my mom was looking at a job.
Wow.
And most of my brothers were at school, and I knew from that point that for anything to happen, you have to actually put your hand on the plow to make it happen. And that means I was at Frederick Maharara Primary School, and then later on went into Mahala CJSS, where I also found another great turnaround for me as a person who was on the bottom 50 in terms of the general population of the school academic performance-wise, and graduating in just 1 week as number 11 out of the whole school.
Wow.
It's a story that I share with most of the students through my other NGO that I run, that's promoting academic excellence in Botswana. It's called Albrimo. And going to Madiba Senior, I think I did 21 days there, and then came to a great school that became a great platform for me, which was GSS by then.
Right.
It was a little bit messed up, but I loved the class that I was with because it was very determined to actually create wealth for themselves. And then I didn't actually understand the stuff that they're talking about, but they recommended me to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
and that exposed me to the business side of everything. But I just wanted to be an engineer, you know. I just wanted to do anything mechanic, anything innovative and creative.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't get the right grades at Form 5.
Yeah.
I did 40 points, but I had a D in English, and I had a little bit of struggle in terms of choosing a career. And then I found myself having to be at ABM University College, where I was studying accounting and finance. Another great platform that it gave birth to all my projects that I was doing. I know that's where I started my NGO when I was 18 as first year student, and
Right.
the NGO running it, meeting a lot of people, attending a lot of seminars, and learning a lot of business stuff and all of that, and get to see how my life was unfolding from the time when I was selling in the supermarkets, in the free market in Mahalape with my grandma, selling vegetables, building houses in Mahalape with my uncle, and doing all sorts of things that where I didn't see that was actually generating a business person within me.
Yeah.
I told you that when from primary school, I was putting bread on the table. I was working with my mom and my other little nephews and nieces, and we would go around Mahalape selling flowers, selling berries that my mom was doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I was actually
that you were actually
a business
learning
person.
something through that process. Yeah.
Until now, where I got to a level where I promised myself when I was doing from first year that if I graduate on a Friday, I'm gonna sit on my office next Monday, and that's what I did. And I kind of put together all my skills, my knowledge, and my experience into a company that I currently run, which is called Launchade International.
Yeah.
That led me to why I wrote the book that I just that we'll be talking about.
Right. So the book is based on your life experiences.
Yes.
There's something that is said about you that your passion is social entrepreneurship, and there's this new phrase that's going around about people being social entrepreneurs and all of that stuff. How do you understand that phrase? Because for a lot of people that's a very new phrase. Everybody just knows entrepreneurship, go out, make money, create wealth, etc., etc.
Yeah.
What is social entrepreneurship to you?
Well, those people that go after the money, they have a right to do so. We have different struggles. For example, people ask me a question. You have a company that has a program that exposes people to get $1 million investment in the project that they do, but these guys that give people $1 million through you don't give the $1 million to you. And why is it that? For me, it's a conversation I actually had with my brother last week that I look like I'm passionate about money, but I'm not.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I look at money as an indicator that shows you if there's money in your company, that means something is going right. If money is dropping, something is going wrong. And if money is at equilibrium, it means that you are not growing at all. So for me, I don't do this that I do for money. I look at money as something that makes things happen. We are at where we are right now in life because of the amount of money that we have. We need more money to do more. It's about the impact. It's about the project that needs to go on. But I feel like entrepreneurship is about solving problems. The first thing before anything else is actually giving somebody an opportunity to live a better life, to have a new experience on what they were doing. And that's why I feel social entrepreneurship is a great phenomenon that will actually it will benefit two people. To benefit the person that is actually running the project, it will even benefit the people. I'm sick and tired of people that all they want is money, because this is why we have people running businesses and they don't care whether they're killing people, they don't care whether they're manipulating people, they don't care if they're putting anybody in danger, but for as long as they make money out of it. We just heard about different scandals that have been happening. I won't mention names, but just last week, big corporations were caught up in different scandals because all they want is the money, and as long as they get the money, they do whatever it can.
Is that something different about your generation? Look, I mean, in the 80s, obviously in the US, there was this great move towards just pure capitalism. I don't know if I can even call it pure capitalism, but there was capitalism that came along with a lot of greed, right? Where everything was about grabbing money, making money. That went through to the 90s as well. We saw all the scandals that came through in the 2000s. We also experienced the Great Recession that happened, and the world's economy then tanked, right? But what I'm seeing from your generation, which came through that experience of the 2000s, is a different idea about money. Am I right about that? Is less about the greed and more about how people can be empowered?
Yeah, that brings us, you're right, pure capitalism that was there. That brings about to why we say that there's a very big line between entrepreneurs and a businessman. Because entrepreneurs are people that they got into business because they saw a need and they saw a gap that they need to meet with the solution that they're creating. For example, if somebody saying, I'm going to do this for the people, and then for this to continually be sustainable and growing, then it has to be commercialized. Then they find themselves having to be in the business, but they never wanted to be in business. They just wanted to help the people. This is somebody saying, what can I do for the people? And they see what they want to do for the people, and ultimately they become rich out of it. And then there are people who say, I want to make money. What can I do to make money? And then they do what makes money, and they keep doing it. That is why in the capitalism era, at that time, most people, they were not entrepreneurs. The beauty of entrepreneurs is that they do what they do because they are passionate about it. They see people before anything else. They see people living better life. It's a vision-driven thing that is all about bettering humanity and all of that. That's what I like in terms of what I see around different entrepreneurs around the world.
Isn't the truth though that we can't all be entrepreneurs? I mean, I know, you know, you go out. I'm sure you do this as well. You give talks to a whole bunch of people, crowds of people. Yeah. But isn't it just a fact that, I mean, there's what, 2 million, just over 2 million of us in Botswana. Let's say half of those are adults. 1 million. We cannot all 1 million of us be entrepreneurs.
Yeah, true. It's actually in my book. I asked you a question: are entrepreneurs made of or born? Which is the question that's been asked all around. It's just like the same controversy that exists within leadership. You know, parameters is there in entrepreneurship.
Right.
The truth of the matter is we cannot all be entrepreneurs, but the other fact is that anybody can be an entrepreneur, although not everybody becomes an entrepreneur.
Right.
You're not an entrepreneur because of any DNA form of whatever. For me, I did not become an entrepreneur because I was passionate about it, or I've envisioned myself one day.
Or you were born that way.
I was not even born that way. You know, I was born in a family that gave me an experience that made me, you know, an entrepreneur. Life shamed me, life embarrassed me. So many different struggles that motivate to be who I am, and that's why I became an entrepreneur. Because through struggling, I wasn't seeing that I was not struggling for myself. I was struggling to get an experience that next time when I see somebody going through the same thing in terms of business, for example, what's happening right now within the business markets, startups are not funded. People have no idea what they're doing, and so many different companies die every single year. That happened to me so many different times, and right now I know how to advise somebody better, because that's what I know.
How do we get over? Because I think as a society, look, nobody wants to fail. And I don't think it matters what society you are in. Society where being a failure or failing in business is not looked down upon as much as it is in a society like Botswana. Or maybe we have that sort of feeling that we can't fail in Botswana because you'll be embarrassed, people will laugh at you and all of that stuff. Society, like the word you used, will shame you for failing. How do we get over that fear of failure as Botswana?
I think the first thing we need to identify here is that entrepreneurs and the rest of the people, just like military people and civilians, we are existing in two different worlds, although we are on the same earth, right? And as long as you are within the world of business, failure is inevitable. It doesn't matter what you do
it's inevitable,
or how you're doing it, you're going to fail. That's
something.
It matters how you actually look at this. Do you see it as a challenge, or do you see it as a problem that you have? I think having the right mindset, that's why actually even the title of the book say think like an entrepreneur, because that's actually what we are going to be dealing with, to say how should your mind be like, not in terms of you motivating yourself to do what you need to do, but the right protocols that you need to follow in terms of thinking. Thinking is in different levels. There's thinking in terms of recalling or just processing right now information. There is thinking in terms of creating the future with your thoughts, seeing the future right now and trying to assimilate yourself with that and creating platforms for that. So if you were to not do something because people say you fear people are gonna laugh at you, whether you do it or you don't even do it, they're still going to laugh you either way. So why don't rather be laughed at while doing something great for yourself? Because the truth of the matter is you're gonna be laughed at least 98% of your entire entrepreneurship journey.
And it's really psychological. It's about getting your mind in the right space to know that, look, this is how I have to look at it. It's either failure or I have to look at it as a setback on the way to a much greater result.
Exactly. But I know how it feels like, you know, to fail in public, because me, I do what I do in public. I post on Facebook. I tell people what I'm going to do. Like right now, I want to sell 2 million copies of my book because I want to do other things. People already know that.
So if you fail to do it,
if I fail to
your
do
failure
it,
is very public.
Which I doubt I'm gonna do that. But if I do fail and if I do succeed, well, good for me. Whatever happens is gonna have to happen.
The title of your book is Think Like an Entrepreneur, Act Like a Prostitute. I know for sure that you chose that title because you wanted something to grab attention. You wanted to be a little bit controversial, so you threw the prostitute thing in there. But explain that to us. I mean, you know, we have titles like that, like, you know, Think Like a Man, or Act Like a Man, Think Like a Woman, or whatever that title is. So I'm sure that was playing in your mind, but why did you choose those two, what some people might call very extreme parts of society, entrepreneurship and prostitution on the other side?
Well, the first time I actually received that idea in my head to say, think like an entrepreneur and act like a prostitute, I say, what?
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind thinking like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, but acting like
acting like a prostitute is something else. So it's, like you said, two extremes.
Right.
That people never actually gave a thought to this. Entrepreneurship is a business, right? In as much as we know a lot of things about prostitutes themselves or prostitution, but we know it because of what people has told us, right? And because of that, it has always come up to us as a bad thing, indecent stuff and all of that. But if you were to pause for a minute and actually look closely within prostitution, there's a very big concept that a lot of entrepreneurs need to learn, right? For example, apart from the fact that entrepreneurs don't read, and reading is a paramount thing to do as an entrepreneur. Botswana society does not read. Like, we have less than 50,000 active readers. Next door here, they have about 23 million people in South Africa who are active readers. The whole of Canada is like 60% of the country is a reader. But right here, we needed to create a book. That's not just a book. It's a book that grabs somebody's attention. It's a book, the first book actually that will grab the world's attention. I see myself in CNN, I see myself on BBC. It hasn't happened yet, but it might happen because of this. But we needed to actually teach entrepreneurs something that is going to get them to be globally competitive, to look outside their markets, to be able to set themselves in a position where they're going to be globally competitive. I'll give you an example. I like sharing the story of McDonald's. There were people that created McDonald's, which are the McDonald's brothers. But right now, Ray Kroc is regarded as the founder of McDonald's. And a lot of people don't understand what happened right now.
Like, who's Kroc?
Who exactly
how come
is
it
the
was started by
founder?
the McDonald's?
And why is McDonald's or Ray Kroc a multi-billionaire right now out of a business that he did not found, but he founded? What exactly made him the founder? And I'll give you an example. When we do business right here in Botswana, we do business differently as compared to how other people do business in the world. Business has nothing to do with the craft of the business only. It has everything to do with the business of the craft as well. Most of us, when we get into business, we are more focused into creating the craft that we say, man, we are meeting the gap with this, but we fail to actually create a better business for this craft that we have created. That's why we have about 85% of companies closing down right here in Botswana, about the same quantity in South Africa. It's just like on average worldwide, 53% of companies close down. Startups, great startups with great products, not because the business is wrong, but because entrepreneurs themselves, they just carry the passion to create something, but they have no idea how to run this thing.
The business,
the business of the craft. So this book actually creates that. It actually equips the entrepreneurs with that knowledge of saying, good, if you create the craft of the business, then how are you going to run the business of the craft? It exposes them to how other people in the rest of the world are doing business. Why do we? I joined Facebook 2008. And if you had to Google Facebook office in 2008, you'll be shocked. It looks like most of offices right here. But they're already transacting from me in 2008 right here in Botswana. We have less than 5 companies outside this country. Great companies. How many great companies do we have in this country? We have so many different people that don't see themselves as global players, simply because they think, well, the time is coming where we're going to be global players. But what they don't see is, if we go into CBD or any shopping mall right now, I'll ask you a question. When you look at those shops, when you look at those offices, what do you see? Do you see Botswana or do you see the world?
90% of them are foreign companies.
Exactly. We may not be going to the world, but the world is coming to us. Just a couple of months ago, we were crying about, Choppies is going into villages and closing down tech shops. We haven't seen nothing. That's nothing. We are about to see the world coming in with great super ideas, great super businesses, done so simple, but they take out our businesses. Because that time we have been hearing that Facebook bought WhatsApp, YouTube bought this, a lot of that. We are about to start seeing that happening, but the question comes down to say, who's going to be buying who? Here in Botswana. And for as long as we just take this thing for granted and then we don't actually plan ahead in terms of creating a better vision for a company right now and seeing how we are going to survive the market going forward.
So this is your book, Think Like an Entrepreneur, Act Like a Prostitute. How can people get a hold of it? How can people get a hold of you if that is what they want to to interact with you?
Yeah, the first platform to interact with us, because the book is going to be coming out on 17th of November.
Right.
2017.
So you're launching it next month?
We're launching it next month right here in Botswana, and we're launching it in Johannesburg and Pretoria. We are launching it in Bulawayo and Harare, and we're also doing that in Malawi. Currently loading other countries that we're sharing with people on the platform. Our Facebook platform is Goitsemang J Khutsafalo, and that's where we're going to be posting most of the details concerning the book right now, and the number that they should call in terms of getting hold of the book if it comes out, or if they have any questions regarding buying the book and the price. I think right now, according to my PR team, they're saying the promotional price for the book right now is 190.
Right.
But the book
so it's very affordable.
It's very, very affordable.
Yeah.
And the book itself will cost 228 after the book launch.
Period.
And
right.
those who are outside the country, like the guys whom we are promoting to in the States, they can buy the book on Amazon and all of that. But right now, for our contact is 77657067.
Right.
77657067.
Or they can catch you on Facebook.
They can catch us on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm a team myself.
Exactly.
That's why I refer to say we or us.
You know, and that's the beautiful language that we were taught these days. That don't refer to yourself as I. You work as a team. You work with other people, and that's how we succeed. Goitsemang, thank you so much for coming into the studio. It's been a real pleasure having you here, talking to you about your book and just your thoughts on entrepreneurship and business leadership in Botswana. And we will have you back later. We'll check on how far that 2 million target has reached. Hopefully when we get you back, you'll have hit that 2 million target, and you'll tell us exactly how you did it.
I pray so.
Great stuff. Okay, that's Goitsemang Khutsafalo. You can check him on Facebook, Goitsemang J Khutsafalo. Look for that name on Facebook if you want to get in touch with him. He's the managing director of Launch It Coaching Company, and the author of Think Like an Entrepreneur, Act Like a Prostitute. That was our Sunday book report for this Sunday. In the background, it's music from right here at home, Banjo Musele with Living in the Kalaka.